Alright, this is going to be some beginner basic PoE2 crafting. This is going to have nothing to do with omens or any sort of specific corrupting or anything weird. This is strictly beginner crafting. Currencies you'll get it throughout leveling, early end game, and just, just doing the campaign, just playing the game naturally. No farming or anything like that. So, I don't know why I keep doing that. First off, we're going to craft some flasks. And we're going to start with flasks because flasks are very simple. They can only have 2 modifiers on them, unlike everything else besides jewels. Everything else can have 6 modifiers, 3 prefixes, 3 suffixes, 7 if you want to count implicits, 8 if you want to count corruptions. But we're going to start with flasks. Flasks can only ever be blue or unique. With uniques, you can't craft unless you chance them, but you can't actually craft them. So we're going to start with flasks because they can only have 2 modifiers. I got a couple of flasks here that we're going to craft up. Now, the flasks I'm using are personally my my ideal setup with the charges per second and then the increased amount recovered. Being that I do have a lot of ES, not too much life, I don't really need massive flasks because my flasks don't affect my ES. So I'll recharge until I eventually go CI, which CI is Chaos Inoculation. It's a passive on the skill tree, sets my life to 1, and I only have energy shield, but I'm immune to chaos damage. And I have to take another node that'll have my life flask affect my energy shield. That is our end goal, so that's what we're working towards. So we need a big flask to help with all the energy shield, because we already have 7k. Before even being at that point, we'll probably be somewhere around 8 or 9k by the time that comes in the next couple levels. But so we're looking for something like this. So we'll start with the health flask. We got something off the vendor here that's 1302, so it is better than mine by 100. That's why we picked it up. Upgrade's an upgrade. But we'll start with the white. And now the first thing you're always going to do whenever you're crafting from a base, which a base item is just a white item. When somebody's talking about picking up bases to craft, that means just a white item, no modifiers, nothing. It's just the base item. So the first thing you're going to do with a white item is hit it with an Orb of Transmutation. This is going to take a normal item to a magic item. So a white item to a blue item. And you're going to get a modifier. Now, on flasks, we only have 2 chances to hit our modifiers. It gets 1 prefix, 1 suffix. Modifiers on flasks, it's always 1 prefix, 1 suffix. 1 prefix, 1 suffix. It's never anything else. You cannot have 2 suffix. You cannot have 2 prefixes. 1 prefix, 1 suffix. So the first thing we hit is grants life recovery to minions. Not terrible for us because we are currently playing a minion build. Not what we want though. However, we are going to hit it with the next thing just to continue the process. It's going to be an Orb of Augmentation. So we put that on there. That's going to give us our second affix or modifier. Sorry. So we got 26% chance to gain a charge when you kill an enemy. Now, to my understanding, something like this, I mean, it's really good if you were killing a lot. It would be better than the 2.5 charges per second. But that's more low pack density, I guess. Like, you need to make the most out of each kill. It's not, again, I don't know who would actually ever use that, but that's what we got. And the you kill an enemy thing does not apply to your minions killing an enemy, if I'm not mistaken. So you actually do have to kill the minion, or the enemy. So it wouldn't be good for our build no matter what. So that's garbage. That's something that's just going to get sold. Just going to vendor it for gold. We got another one here. Again, increased amount recovered. Exactly what we're looking for. We're going to hit with the augment. Reduce charges per use. Not terrible. Not terrible. We're going to get 10 and some change uses out of this. It's like 10.6 or something, 10.7. Not bad, but we really want the 2.5 because in longer boss fights, if you make a bunch of mistakes, you can kind of just run it out and, live. It's not really an issue on a minion build, but it's definitely something that could happen when we're fighting bigger bosses that may just slam and kill all my minions, and I gotta wait 6 seconds or 5 seconds, whatever it is, for all my minions to come back. So not great for us. However, it's not bad. So we're going to throw that one in there because we might use that for a different character when we're leveling. We have a mana flask. Mana flask, same thing. Increased amount recovered. Ours at 0.15 charges per second. We would like that to be at 0.25. We only have 1100 mana. And we don't actually ever run out of mana. The only time we actually ever dump mana a lot is when we throw up our offerings. Flame Wall only takes 99 mana. You know, the Bone Offering takes double that. And Pain Offering takes 150% of that. Or an extra 50%. So, those are a little bit more hefty, especially since we pop both these at the same time. So, we're dumping 300 mana right there, while also still Flame Walling. So, after we throw up our offerings, we just hit the flask. And then there's also mobs, yellow mobs in the end game. They'll have a big blue circle around them that'll drain mana, ES, flash charges. It'll drain a bunch of shit. So we would like a big mana flask, and when that drain hits, we can kind of hit our mana flask and we just keep going. So again, transmute, reduce charges per use, not exactly what we're looking for. And then augment, increased recovery rate. Recovery rate's not bad. You're gonna get it back faster, but it's not what we're looking for. And for whatever reason, our flasks are minuscule in these first 3 acts. Even going into Cruel, we didn't get new like flask bases. We got like ultimate or something, and went from 860 to 910. So flasks aren't exactly huge in the game right now. I don't know if that plans on changing, but it's definitely not PoE 1 where your flask did thousands. The highest I've seen on a health flask is actually 1700, which is right here, 1766. So we're looking for something along the lines of 1766. But I mean, this is a dual mod. It's going to take away mana, so we don't want that. So it's probably going to be lower. It's probably like 1500. Now, I guess the next thing to talk about is now that we have a blue item here to show you, if you hold the Alt key, you can see right here where these U's are. These will tell you if something is a suffix or a prefix if you hover over them. And on any of the crafted items, you'll see exactly what tier it is. I know it's very hard to see. It's a little dim here. But this top 2 modifiers right here, Energy, Shield, and Life, that's one modifier. That's called a multi-mod. It is T4. If we hover over it, we can see that is a prefix modifier, Bishops, Tier 4, Life and Defense. It's going to be very important when you're crafting things, because you got to know what you can still hit when you're crafting things to make it even worth it to continue to craft on it. Because if you're looking for life, but you're out of prefix slots, there's no point of continuing to hit it with currency, because you can't roll the life you need. You know, your prefix is already filled up. But we'll get to that in a second. So these flasks are pretty dead to us. We're going to go and sell them. If you didn't know, you can just control left click and it'll auto sell things to the vendor. Same thing with buying. So now the next thing to talk about, after, again, reiterating, regular items that are not jewels. Jewels are something you would put on your passive tree like these. Jewels can have 4 modifiers. Just like this. 4. And jewels don't have tiers. They just have modifiers. It's kind of like flasks. So, armor and jewelry, not jewels, jewelry, accessories, can have 3 prefixes, 3 suffixes, an implicit modifier, and a corruption. Back in PoE 1, your implicit would be on the same kind of slot as your corruption. It does not seem like that is the same way now. I don't have any corruptions to show you. But I believe I corrupted something before, and I thought this character was wearing it. Okay, we'll corrupt some things. We'll see if we can hit it. Either way, an implicit modifier. It's the 7th modifier. It is innate to what you are picking up 99% of the time. So belts, the effect on a belt is its implicit modifier. So a male belt will always have the reduced flash charges used. That is its implicit modifier. It will always have that unless corrupted, unless something weird happens to it. And as you can see, when you hold Alt, you see the I next to it. Again, implicits don't have tiers. You'll see an I. You know that means it's an implicit. That's what it is. A skill is not an implicit modifier. So if you ever have anything that says it's going to fuck with implicit modifiers, it will not do anything to a skill. This staff, level 14 living bomb. If I hold Alt, there's nothing there. It is not an implicit modifier. It is a spell skill. That is the skill you are granted when you put this staff on. If you have anything that gives you +2 spell skills or +2 skills or fire spells, it will affect this because it is a skill you are granted, not an implicit modifier. So, to move on. Armors. We have evasion, armor, energy shield. Any piece of armor can have 1 to 2 of these armor types, these defenses. Weapons just have weapon damage, but you will not find that on caster weapons. Just melee weapons. So we're going to craft this body armor up first, and we're going to do the same process as the Flasks. We're going to hit with a transmute, and we're going to hit with an augment. And now here's where the new step comes in, because now we need to make this a yellow item, because blue items can only have 2 modifiers, a prefix and a suffix. We're going to then take a Regal Orb, which a Regal Orb turns a magic to a rare item with 1 extra modifier. Is now a yellow item. Now, as you can see, when I hold Alt, it's a T1, T3, and a T2. So only an item level 58. So our mod pool it's not super limited, but it's lower than what it could be compared to an eye level 80, 82, 85 base. But so far, we have 2 prefixes, 1 suffix. So, if I'm crafting this, and I'm looking at this, and I need life and I need resistances. I don't have life yet. If life is more important to me than resistances, because my resistances are covered on the rest of my gear, I would not continue to roll this. I would find a new base. Now, let's assume, though, I need the resistances. This 12 fire res, which, keep in mind, 12 fire res, dog shit roll. Garbage. I do not care about this item. This item is trash already. Let's pretend it's not trash. Let's pretend I need that 12 fire res. I don't need any life. And the evasion rating on this is better than the chest piece I have. I would then take an Exalted Orb, which an Exalted Orb will augment a rare item with a new random modifier. So it'll give me another prefix or a suffix on a rare item, which is a yellow item. So we're going to take our Exalt, and we're going to throw it on here. We hit life. It's 7 life. It also has evasion rating. Now this is perfect because this is called a multi-mod. This is something that's very good to hit after you've already hit what you actually wanted. So you can hit upwards of 200 life on a chest piece, if I'm not mistaken. So let's say this hit 180, right? And then the evasion rating was like a T6 evasion rating instead of a T3. Hitting this wouldn't be bad, 11%. All right, 7 health is kind of dog shit, but the evasion rating would be the important part of this. If it was a higher tier, if it was like a tier 4, it'd be like 30 health and 25% evasion rating, I think, or 30%. That'd be really good. It's not, though. Now, again, back to the argument we just made. We want resistances. We have all of our prefixes filled and 1 suffix. The other suffixes we can hit are chaos res, lightning, cold, and then a couple other things. But we have 3 mods that we can hit. I personally would still hit this, assuming I don't need anything else from prefixes. My prefixes are covered. Let's say these are perfect for me. I would hit this again. Boom. Cold res. Perfect. We just got exactly what we needed. Now, this is something I would wear, right? This covers the I needed this for the resistances. I got my resistances. I'm going to put it on. If I have throwaway currency, which exalts seem to be very abundant for me while leveling up on both of my characters, so all of my gear always had 6 modifiers, I would, says 5 modifiers, I would hit it again. Because whatever I get now is just added bonus. Because I hit exactly what I needed. Added bonus. And now we have 6 modifiers. I can no longer hit this. Ever again. So, if we're talking in terms of currency needed to fully craft an item, these are what you need. You need 1 transmute, 1 aug, 3 exalted orbs. That is how you fully craft an item up to being perfectly fine to use. Now, and we're talking practicality now, I would never ever wear this chest piece. It is dog shit, right? Like I said before, this is actually dog shit chest piece. We're just pretending it was good. When I first rolled this and I got the 12 fire res, I believe that was the first thing I hit. It's dead right there. 12 fire res, don't care. I'm not rolling it again. I may hit it with the augmentation still, just to see if I get like a big ES roll or something, and be like, whatever about the, because it's unlikely that you're gonna hit all 6 rolls perfect, exactly what you need, amazing tiers, unlikely. So I might hit with the augment, but I would never regal it. I would never ever regal an orb or an item. So regal orb. I apologize. You do need a regal orb as well. So it'd be that. I would never ever regal a blue item unless both blue modifiers are exactly what I'm looking for. So if it was 30%, 35% fire res, and then 90% evasion rating, it gets a regal orb all day long. All fucking day. It was not that. The first mod, it was dead on the first mod. At that point, wouldn't even waste the currency. I would vendor it, throw it on the ground, whatever, find a new base, rinse and repeat. Right? You get so many transmutes and augs. There's a lot of times where I'm just mapping. I'll pick up a white item. I have transmutes and augs that I've already picked up in the map. I'll craft right there, dog shit, throw it on the ground, keep going. Won't even waste the time with it. Now, another form of crafting you can do, which we're going to show it on the staff here, is just hitting it with an alchemy orb. An alchemy orb will give it 4 modifiers. It upgrades a normal item, a white item, a base item, straight to a rare item with 4 modifiers. So what we got here is actually not awful, right? It's okay. The issue with this is for casters. Most people, but more so casters than anybody else, gem level matters the most, right? For melees, it's weapon damage. For casters, it's skill level, right? So being that this didn't hit at least a +3 on the fire skills or spell skills, we don't want it. It's kind of garbage. Now, if I was somebody using fire skills, this is something I would absolutely exalt to try and hit the plus the skill gems. It is I believe a suffix. If I look right here, minion skills, it is a suffix. So you have 1 open suffix, 1 open prefix. So if I wanted to, I actually could. And we'll do it just for testing because, fuck it. Another great roll. 23% extra damage is gold damage. It's just extra damage, right? Unless you are playing some form of brutality, which I don't know why you would as a caster. It's just extra damage. You just take it. It scales off of your primary damage. That's great. But that is a prefix, which means we can still hit plus skill gems. So we're going to hit it one more time. We did not hit it. Now it's throwaway. It's garbage. Right? In my opinion, it's garbage. Maybe somebody gets it. Maybe somebody doesn't. Watch our previous video to figure out how to do a dump tab. Dump tab, you just fucking throw whatever you got in here. Really. Personally, I fill this up. Every league I play, whenever I'm playing Pee-wee, I fill up a dump tab with uniques I've gotten twice. These invitations or whatever I get, whatever random thing for the league is. Random pieces of gear that I'm like, this is dog shit, right? But you never know. So yeah, that's how you craft just regular shit. A little rambly, I do apologize. So this is garbage. Again, we have a belt, and we're gonna craft this up. Okay, so we're gonna hit it with the transmute. 92 mana. 92 mana. If my build needs mana, I continue. Okay? If my build needs mana, I continue. This build does not need mana. However, it is a belt, so we could hit plus charm slot. We could hit resistances still. A lot of things we can still hit, and the mana may just be an added bonus, but it's a good roll on mana. Maybe it's good for somebody else. Increased flash charges gain. That's not bad defensively. It's not awful. So with the 3 modifiers it just rolled, I stop here. I just stop. I don't waste the exalts. It didn't hit life. It didn't hit anything to do with ES, which I'm not even sure if ES can roll on belts anymore. Like increased ES, I don't think it can. It didn't hit any of our 4 resistances: chaos, lightning, cold, fire. And it didn't hit any stun threshold. It didn't hit any armor. It didn't hit an additional charm slot, which is the big one, which at level 28 is when you can get your second charm slot on belts. At level 64 is when you get your third. So this is item level 58. So it could have at least given us another charm slot. Personally, that's what I would be looking for. Right? My ideal first modifiers are 1 of our resistances, 1 to 2 charm slots, life, and if I hit any of those, and that's what, 4, 5, 6, that's 7 different modifiers. If I hit 2 of those 7 modifiers, I continue with the belt. I didn't. Regal orbs are kind of easy to come by, so I'm not too worried about dumping a regal orb on something, especially like a belt. But it's not great. So just step away from it. Now we're gonna go back to this chest piece because 2 things we haven't done actually. Armor scrap, which improves quality. So as you can see here, take a look at the evasion rating, 464. And this is kind of jumping around, I do apologize. 464 in the evasion rating. If we hit it with an armor scrap, it goes to 473. Quality will improve the base innate weapon damage and armor modifiers. So whatever, if this had 450 ES, and I give it plus 2 quality, it's going to give 2% to that 450, and then all of your other modifiers are going to affect that 450 plus 2%. Same thing with weapons. It will always do the physical damage on the weapon or whatever the innate damage is on the weapon. So it could be a cultist bow, it would affect the chaos damage. But it will always hit the base of the item. And now the other thing we can do is an Artificer's Orb, which this will give it these sockets. Right here. So, the sockets here allow you to put in these runes. And all these runes do different things. I do apologize. My camera's a little in the way. So these runes right here. That's a bad rune. We'll go with this one. So there's runes for a bunch of different things, increased armor and evasion, life regen, mana regen, your resistances, and they're all dual use. There's a use for your weapon, there's a use for your armor. Okay, we're doing armor, so this is going to give lightning res. All you do is you take it, socket it in. That's it. And now, again, not an implicit modifier, it's a craft, a rune, completely separate. And then you have 12% lightning res. Okay. Now the last thing we can do is corrupt the item. Corrupting needs to be done last. Once we corrupt this item, it is done. There's nothing else we can do to it. Absolutely nothing else. We corrupt it. Nothing happened. Oh, I'm sorry. It got a second socket. So this, in my experience, this is the most likely outcome. Second socket. So you can put another thing in. After it's corrupt, the only thing you can do is throw another rune in. These runes cannot get back. Once the rune's in there, it's in. You can't do anything else to it. You can't pull it out. You can't put a new one in. It's done. Chest pieces can have 2. And then, as you can see, I corrupted the one I am currently wearing to get a 3rd. So if I was going to use this chest piece, I would use 2 Artificer Orbs, but we knew we weren't going to. Yeah. Corrupting it can do a whole bunch of different things. It can completely brick the item. It can do nothing, give it another socket. You can give it an implicit modifier that gives you plus health or skill or minion damage, whatever it is, depending on what piece of gear it's on. There's a whole list. You're just gonna have to Google what corruption modifiers are. I'm sure somebody has a list at this point. But other than that, that's pretty much it for armor and weapon crafting. You can quality up your skill gems and stuff too, but that's, you know, GMPs and whatever. That's pretty much it for crafting. Yeah, that is about it. I would say if you're crafting, be careful. Don't dump all your currency. If you still don't know what you're doing after this video, feel free to come by and ask. We stream every day, twitch.tv/Rusama. Feel free to come by and ask. I'll look at your items and tell you whether they're good or bad or not. You know, I'll look at a whole tab for you if you want me to. Not really, I'm not doing a whole fucking tab. But if you want to link me an item or two, give you a thumbs up, thumbs down. But a lot of crafting, you're never really going to want to craft for profit. Because you're never going to make out. Like, you can. Like, I've crafted some things that sold for a few extra X than when I put into them. But in general, not really. So don't ever craft for profit. Craft because you need the item. And then sometimes you'll hit things that you don't need but somebody else needs, and hey, you do make a couple exalts off of it. But in general, that's it. That this is purely crafting for beginners. There's a whole nother side to crafting with omen crafting. And that comes from ritual drops. So if we go to the currency exchange, we got omens. All this stuff. That's a whole nother mess of shit. They're fairly basic. You put them in your inventory, you activate them, and then whatever they say is what they do. But there's a process to be the most efficient with it. That this has already gone on for 27 minutes, so we're not gonna continue on to that. There's also essences. If you're new, save your essences. Use them on a normal item, and then again, whatever they say they will give is what they give. So if you're trying to roll life modifiers specifically, you look for the body rune and you hit it, and it rolls life. I guess we can actually use one of those really quick before we end the video here. So I do have a couple other... Here's a white item. We go into our essence tab. I don't think there's any speed modifiers. What is speed? I don't know. I don't have speed on my boots. Oh, here we go. Speed modifier. So we take the essence of haste, right click, throw it on here. Movement speed. That's it. That's how essences work. You cannot use... I take these. You cannot use it on a blue item. Can't use it on a yellow item. It has to be a white item. It's just a good jumping off point. They're not terrible to use. But yeah, other than that, thanks for watching. I'll probably try to put out another one in the next couple of months around the start of the next league to make it a little bit more short form. We may also just make shorter videos here in short form to better explain things and be more efficient here. But other than that, yeah, again, stream every day, twitch.tv/Rusama. Like, comment, subscribe. Have any questions, feel free to comment below. If you think I should do something better, please comment that below as well. Come tell me in person. Not in person, do not knock on my fucking door. But on stream, come and tell me. I love feedback, love criticism. Just don't be a cunt. That's it. Other than that, love you guys.